Hi, my name is Jason Janik. This is my video project for ethical hacking. My professor is Dr. Kaleem, and the purpose of this project is to introduce you to Bluetooth hacking. And let's see. So I guess I should start off with an introduction to what is Bluetooth. Bluetooth is it's a technology that was created in 1994 to replace serial cables, but obviously it's become much more than that. I think what everybody knows nowadays is Bluetooth as it relates to phones and hands-free telephone, not hands-free, hands-free telephony, there we go, as well as other wireless connections like Bluetooth keyboards, Bluetooth mice, etc., etc. And I think the focus is on, for Bluetooth hacking, the focus is on telephones, especially smartphones. Since today, most people, I'm not going to say most people, but most people have smartphones, and they do all sorts of business on their smartphones, such as banking. So they do all sorts of business on their phones. They check their emails, they check Facebook, they check PayPal, they do all sorts of stuff. And that can leave them very vulnerable if they don't know what they're doing. Obviously, and I want to stress this, the most important thing you can do as far as Bluetooth security is to turn your Bluetooth off when you're not using it. Because as we'll see, there are ways that you can actually see Bluetooth devices even if they are not set to discoverable. Or even if they're on and not connected to anything. For example, my wife has a very nice vehicle that connects to her Bluetooth, and she can make calls while she's driving, and but when she's not in her car, she doesn't turn her phone off, her Bluetooth on her phone off, so she's very susceptible to Bluetooth hacking. So that's probably the absolute best thing you can do, is to turn your Bluetooth off when you're not using it. The second thing you need to do is make sure that your Bluetooth is up to 4.0. The version that you're using is up to 4.0, because 4.0 has increased security. God, I suck at this. So a little bit of history with Bluetooth. Obviously, as I said, it was created in 1994, but it's gone through 4 revisions. The original version was 1.0, went to 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 4 major revisions. Each revision introduced something else. 4.0 brought along a low power revision, and it uses low energy, so that now they're able to use Bluetooth devices that last for years on a single battery, because they emit such low energy and frequencies. I guess a little bit about Bluetooth. It operates in the 2.8 megahertz band, which is the ISM band, Industrial Scientific Medical band. It's an internationally agreed standard. Let's see. It doesn't use the way it works. It doesn't transmit large packets of information over one single channel. What it does is it sets up a piconet, which is a tiny personal network, And there's one device, which is the master. It can have up to 7 devices that are slaves, which are always communicating with it, on the PicoNet. The PicoNet is just a personal small network. And what it does is the master Bluetooth, how it works is it basically does frequency hopping. It's a technique where it sends packets over different frequencies at different random frequencies, so that the information is not able to be caught by scanning just one frequency. So anyhow, that's how that works. So anyhow, let's get into the hacking. So I guess first thing I should talk about is what we would need for this. And I don't have it here, so I'm going to pause it while I run and go get what I need. So hang tight. Alright, so I found what I was looking for. This little baby is a D-Link DBT 120. That's the model number. The actual chipset inside is the Blue Core 4 EXT. That's the one that'll work for this. It's the same one that's found inside Frontline, Frontline is a company that makes Bluetooth protocol analyzers, Bluetooth sniffers for security professionals. Anyhow, they're the same ones that they use for their Bluecom probe. They have their own little piece of hardware that they use for their suite of software called FTS for BT. So anyhow, this particular dongle is revision C1, so we know it's good. Dr. Klim's actually done the hard part. He flashed it with the firmware that came with the FTS4BT there's firmware that came with it, and he did the hard part. He did the flashing. So this is now able to detect, in raw mode, it's able to detect undiscoverable Bluetooth devices. So let's get to work. And since I forgot to mention, we're going to use a couple pieces of software. One being the aforementioned FTS4BT from Frontline. We're going to use a old copy of it. And also we're going to use another piece of software that's called BTCrack that was developed in 2008. And that is going to allow us to crack the pin for connecting Bluetooth devices. Okay, so let's get to work now. What we're going to do right now is use the Frontline protocol analyzer to sniff out any Bluetooth devices, what's called blue sniffing. There's a few different terms that we'll use. There's blue sniffing, which is just finding out information that's floating out there. Blue snarfing, which is actually connecting to a device and taking information from it. There's blue jacking, which is taking over a device that through the Bluetooth protocol. What else is there? There's a lot. So those are probably the main ones. But in this case, we're just going to be sniffing. Maybe after we get the pin, we'll do a little bit of blue snarfing as well. So. Okay, so first things first, we've plugged in the Bluetooth dongle, and Windows automatically installs it as a generic Bluetooth adapter, as you can see here in Device Manager, and and of course it's got a little yellow caution, which means, let's see what it means. It means, oh, Windows has stopped this device because it has reported problems. So we have an easy solution for that. Let's go to driver, and we'll update the driver. We're going to browse the computer. We'll pick from a list of devices, And let's go to where we installed Frontline. Slowly but surely, where we installed Frontline. So, I put it here on the D drive somewhere. Files, Frontline drivers, Bluetooth COM probe, which is their proprietary Bluetooth dongle, which uses the CSR chip, same as our $40, if that, dongle. So we'll go here, we'll choose Bluetooth COM probe driver, open, we'll say OK. Driver's not digitally signed, we don't care. Next. Yes, please. We don't care if you can't verify the driver. Sorry for the delay. Typical. So hopefully the driver will install correctly. Hey, there we go. And let's see, it successfully updated our driver. We'll close that. We will look back and see what it says. Device is working properly, which is always good. And let's take a look. Now it's the Frontline Test Equipment Bluetooth COM probe, which is a far cry from a generic Bluetooth adapter. So that looks good. We can close that out. And okay, now that we have the driver installed and the Bluetooth COM probe installed, we're going to open up FTS4BT. And we're going to open up Air Sniffer Basic. And it's going to load. And we'll close the tip of the day. And just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to open an already captured capture file. And show you the information that we need for, where is it? That we're going to use for BTCrack. There we go. In this case, this was a Plantronics headphone set with a Nokia phone. Oops, I'm sorry. And we can see here, let's open up BTCrack, since that will show us all the fields that we need. So we'll open up BTCrack here. Yes, we'll run it, even if it's deemed unsafe. So in this case, what we're looking for are all these LMP. LMP is a protocol used by Bluetooth. So we're looking for all of these. And as you can see, right here, we've got the AU RAND, which is an authorization sent by, well, there should be an AU RAND sent by the master. But this is for the slave, and this is an authorization sent back from the slave to the master. We're also going to look for COM key and SRES. Here's the COM key, and here's the SRES. And you can see here we finally got the setup complete. This is what happens when it's paired and it's running. So all of these things before the setup complete is just back and forth between the two Bluetooth devices. It's just the way the protocol for Bluetooth works. And so once we have these, once we have all of this information, we have IND RAND, or IN RAND. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, there we go. We have random number. It's just a random number generated by the master. And here we go. This is what we would take, and we'd place it in here. Now, this version of FTS4BT doesn't have an easy export to CSV option. So we have two options. We could cut and paste, but what I'm going to do is use an already established CSV, and I'll show you that now. So hold on. Okay, now we already have BTCrack open, BTCrack, and now we're going to take the test file, which we have exported from FTS4BT. It contains all the LMP bytes that we need. If you want to take a look at it, it's just comma separated values, and it has readouts of all the payloads for each individual command. And so let's browse there. Let's go to desktop. Let's take test. We'll open that. Fills in all the fields for us automatically, which is nice. It says load and capture file successful. And now all we would need to do is hit crack. And wow, that was quick. Normally it should take longer than that. We find the pin for syncing the two devices. And we find the link key, which I will discuss in a minute on why the link key is important. And so now we have this information. Let's I'll talk about link keys now. Hold on. Okay, so a little bit about the link key. The link key is basically an authorization key that's passed from the slave to the master saying, hey, we've already established a connection. And it's a bit more complicated than just the PIN number, but we need both the PIN number and the link key just for ease of use. And the importance of having the link key is if we just had the PIN number and we were trying to connect to somebody's Bluetooth device, our device would send a signal to the Bluetooth device that we were trying to hack, and it would, and I'm sure you've seen this on your Bluetooth phones, if you try to connect a Bluetooth device to your Bluetooth device, it opens a little message window that says such and such is trying to connect, and usually it wants to either, if you're the slave, you have to input a PIN. So in this case, with the PIN, even if we had the PIN, if we didn't have the link key, it would pop up that message, and without the express consent of the user, we can't access that person's Bluetooth device. Now with the link key basically says, hey, we've already established a connection before, and you know the PIN, we've done this before, so it's not that big a deal. This happens when you connect to something often, like my Bluetooth headset and my phone. All I have to do is turn on my headset and it should sync automatically to my phone. You don't get that same message popping up saying, hey, there's a new device. You don't have to go through that every time. That's one of the comfort features built into Bluetooth, that you don't have to repeat that same process every time. Unfortunately, if you have the link key and you are spoofing that device, you're saying, hey, I'm this slave device, what happens is it gets the link key and it says, okay, we've done this before, and it allows you to have access. So that's where the importance of grabbing the link key is. And as you can see, just from, well, not simple protocol analyzer software, sniffing Bluetooth connections, but you know, it's not particularly difficult. All the software can be found online, and even if you don't have a simple DBT 120 dongle, there is another product called Ubertooth, which is it's used for penetration testing, and it can be used for the same purpose, and you can just search around for it. And with something as simple as some downloaded software and that piece of hardware, you can essentially grab link keys and hack someone's phone, potentially. So, all right, thank you very much.